Welcome to the Elite Power Moves podcast, where we unlock the secrets to level up in all areas of life. I'll be interviewing some of the world's top performers in their fields so that you can uncover and learn the strategies that have led to their overall success and apply it to your own life.
Kristina, welcome to the Elite Power Moves podcast, where we're interviewing the world's top performers in their field so we can uncover their secrets and let our listeners adapt them to their own lives. Thanks for turning up today.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here.
No, I'm really looking forward to this. It's a long time coming. And obviously, as you know, I want to have more peak performing females on the podcast. So I'm going to get stuck into the first question that all our listeners want to know. But Kristina, your work is centered around identity and transformation and the way people show up in life. What's the biggest identity shift you see in people needing to make a change before it's too late?
The biggest identity shift. What I find when I come across quite a lot of high performers, but they feel a bit stuck in where they are or in their career or in their business, usually means that they've been in their company for a long period of time. I say 5 years plus, and they've become ingrained in the four walls that are around them and drinking the Kool-Aid, if you like. And if anything, they've actually lost their self-identity a little bit and their self-worth, and they start identifying themselves with the title and the company rather than who they are, their skill sets, and they forget that it's all quite transferable in what they do, and they could think bigger, go bigger, and just go outside this shell. And once you show them that, they see this, but usually it's because they've just been in their environment for a bit too long and their worth is no longer showing them value.
I guess the follow-up question for that, for high performers, why do you think people get stuck in their current identity? Like when they sort of know what's already holding them back?
Comfort. There is a circle of comfort and they feel powerful. They know it, right? Think about when you just do something on autopilot and you do it quite well because you've been doing it for so long and you're the king of it and that's what you're known for and that's where you feel like you thrive. And then if they take a step outside of that, to the left, to the right, or even down into a whole new sphere, it's an unknown. So what if they fail and they fall on their face? And it's that fear of that unknown that they're not willing to unlock, to give it a go because they've just been in their safety net for too long.
Yeah, it's so common, like for high performers. And I guess it comes back to that first thing that you just said, fear. Because most obviously the psychology of humans, we fear change. We want to stay in that like computer mode where we're just like a robot doing the things that work. And obviously changing is uncomfortable. And
Yeah.
I always like to start off, and you probably see me in Sydney going through the pillars of performance, and probably the pillar that's underneath identity and behaviors and belief system is fear. That's the first thing that we need to overcome before we can start breaking down those pillars. And yeah, it's very common. I guess a lot of high performers talk about, they run a multi-million-dollar company, for example, and I assess one of my clients' calendars and I'm like he's mentioning he doesn't have as much time, and I assessed his calendar and he's doing a job that he's paying people $30 an hour to do. And I asked him and I said, why are you doing that role when you've got people to do it? And his identity was linked to, because that's what I did to make it, to get where I am. This is the habit that I had. So obviously sometimes letting go of stuff can open up doors for bigger places. And one of my favorite lines is that the cave that we fear to enter always holds the treasure we seek.
Absolutely. I do find with a lot of people who say they're busy, if they actually, someone who's got a real eye for time efficiencies and alchemy, go in and have a look like yourself and go, actually, that's not the best use of your time. There's a better way to do this process. And like you said, they've said, but this is how I've always done it. And once you've got to, it's a real process to take someone on a journey to say, actually, your worth is this. If you pay someone, they will take maybe twice as long, but you now focus on the higher strategic, higher paying, higher ROI stuff, and it will compound. But getting people out of that and not feeling their value based on their calendar being booked out and being busy, that frustrates me a lot when people go, oh, I'm so busy, and I'm watching them. They're so inefficient in the way that they are working, that I was like, I could get your output in half the time and you'd have more free time with your family and you'd probably make more money and you'd be happier, but you can't say the word busy. Like I always say when someone says, oh, I don't have time or I didn't have this, I'm like, no, say, I chose to do X. I chose not to do Y, because you did make a choice.
Yeah, I think what I said in Sydney and what I learned as a young entrepreneur is busyness is laziness. Like it really is just doing the little things. So, because we all know the bigger things that create fear, like the big things we want to work on or the big doors we want to open. Like we've got to go through that fear to go, okay, I've got to do that. And that's a normal feeling and emotion that will come up. And it's about identifying that and going, wow, and actually changing the frame of your mindset to go, wow, this is exciting. You know, like whenever shit goes down or, things are going wrong in my business, I get excited because I'm like, shit is about to go right because,
the opportunity is on the other side.
And it's, I guess the same with all aspects of life. And I guess the biggest thing that people have to take from that first question as an answer is whatever they fear, go into it with excitement because it is going to open doors for them,
Yep, absolutely. You do, what's the best case scenario? What's the worst case scenario? And usually it's somewhere in the middle. And it's what are you willing to lose to gain that opportunity or that reputation or that success metric, and off you go. But
yeah, and I think it's a big question we could probably go a lot into, like even with procrastination and, because
which we all do, but yes.
One of the sayings that a billionaire actually taught me is procrastination is the biggest killer for your destination. You've always just got to fear it, jump into it, and just trust it.
You hear that, don't you? Especially with, your Elon Musk or your greatest entrepreneurs, is that while people are still like in planning and paralysis of just overthinking, the real entrepreneurs have actually tried and failed 5 times over. So they're already leaps and bounds to you trying just once. So just get in there, get dirty. And I always, with everything, if it's a technology transformation, I'm just like, what's your rollback plan? Like, is it a 2-way decision or 1-way decision, which you've heard from, I believe it's in Atomic Habits or something. And if it's most of the time it's a 2-way decision, and what's your rollback plan? Like how quickly can you pivot and go back and off you go again?
Yeah, and that's it. And look, for example, I get men that come in and they want to, or like women too, they come in and they see what I do. Like we create an owner's manual for you. Like we give you the answers that your doctor's going to tell you, but they still have this thing, but what if it doesn't work for me? Or where do I find the time? Like I just got to do this next thing, like when the kids get older or maybe next quarter, and there's this thing. And the one book that I love around transformation is Michael Singer, The Untethered Soul. The first line you read is, the voice you hear in your head isn't you. You're the person that listens to the voice. And if you get to know that about yourself and you go, well, like this fear part and this part of me is actually not me. Like this, like, and some people live their whole life in this like computer program, like living in that fear state.
Yeah. They actually get their endorphin from just having an idea and they like to think it, but there's no action behind it. And they'll live it. Some people, and whatever, if that makes you happy, you can live your whole life like that. But there's a lot of, and I'm assuming all your listeners out there are actually quite high performers, which means that they're not satisfied with just thinking about it. They need those actionable steps and making sure that their body's in peak performance to keep up with where they actually want to go.
Yeah.
Which is why I did your program as well.
Look, it's not really it's not really anyone's fault, to be honest. And I like to identify that to our listeners that might get triggered by knowing they're in this state. It's actually not their fault. Like it's just wired into us as humans, like to procrastinate and have fear. But it's just like you said with Elon Musk, it's just about chiseling away and taking risk and just knowing things aren't going to work out. You might lose everything, you might win everything, but the decision you don't make to do it could be the thing that changes your life, and opens up those doors. But Katrina, with the next question, with high performance isn't just about strategy, it's about standards and discipline. How do you help people raise their personal standards without falling back into old habits?
Yeah, habit stacking is a big thing. And uh, I'm big on setting targets or KPIs or goals or whatever works for someone to drive. Like I'll set myself, and when I found I wasn't really achieving one of my goals or my health goals at the time, I'm like, at work I always hit my KPIs. So I'm like, I'm going to change for me. Like, so you got to work what works for you. I'm going to change it to a KPI because I always hit my KPIs. So I changed it to a KPI. I mapped out how many days a week I was going to train and what sort of training, and I marked it off. And then at the start of the week, let's talk health and training and gym. I actually pre-planned the week. So then that took that decision fatigue away. So I'm like, that's already in my calendar. It's planned. I already preset my alarm clock. So it was going to go off every morning. So I had to actually make the wrong decision to turn it off if I didn't want to train when I was starting to get into it. And then look, there are days that I really didn't feel like training that day and I turned up anyway. And I would openly say, today is a habit stacking day. It is about me turning up to keep that consistency, to change that neuro pathway in my brain to say, no, this is part of your lifestyle now. And I might not have trained as hard as I usually was because I might have been a bit tired, but by doing that consistency, then it just became part of who I was and my identity and my new lifestyle where I was going. So I'm about people, pre-planning, having a plan, having that goal set, actually knowing where you want to go, because otherwise you're just driving in the dark. So putting that destination in your GPS, and then you don't need to know every step to get there. We just need to know the next step and the next step, and just keep making those 1%ers, and your habits will compound and your effort will stack.
Yeah, that's exactly how I look at health. Like that, we've got that in common. I'm about like even driving, like, because the afternoon routine for a high performer is really important, but also the morning routine. Like, for example, even like, from what you do first thing in the morning to first thought to first liquid you put in your body to everything that you do during the day is part of your habit stacking and part of your computer program. And the way I look at health is it's not the bigger picture. And a lot of high performers, they have these huge goals. Because high performers actually on gene data we look at, they actually have a low dopamine response. So this means that they don't actually feel the joy of getting to that goal that they hit. So they set better goals and better goals. And that's why they become multimillionaires, because they're this never feeling fully fulfilled. The other thing is sometimes they will set these huge goals and not achieve them. So they're in this feeling of lack. And that's one of the biggest drainers of energy. But like when it comes down to it, like if you look at health in a day, like, getting up, gratitude, visualization, like even like 5 minutes of meditation and breath work, that's like 7 minutes of your day. You got 1,440 minutes. But then you're efficient within knowing, obviously your body. Like I can't just smash caffeine and jump on emails because that's going to put me in the parasympathetic state. It's going to have me in the fight and flight and raise cortisol all day, which is going to affect my cognitive ability during the morning, and it's going to have me crashing at 3 o'clock. And once you get used to that, I think health is more of it is an identity. It is an emotional connection with yourself. It's about going, look, I actually know how I feel now. Like and that's what health is. It's a feeling of self-worth and self-love and respect for yourself. I guess
reading your body, right?
Yeah,
so
like
understanding and listening.
because your habits and identity and your subconscious are your body. Like they are your body. Like if you look at someone that's super fit and healthy, then you can tell that they've got this identity around being that person. I did have, I guess, a follow-up question. What's one non-negotiable habit you see people who consistently perform at their best?
So the non-negotiable for the higher performers that do perform at their best is they're very, very deliberate with their time.
Yeah.
So they are not wasting it having general chit chat all the time here and there. They get up, they already know what their day looks like. They know what their big rocks are that they need to knock over for that day. They're not just wasting it being busy. Their calendar is locked down like a Bible, and and even they might put personal things in there as well to make sure that they're balanced out, but it's still their time is, they don't waste it on people, things, or events that aren't going towards their bigger picture or their bigger goal or their values.
Yeah, time is the most valuable resource. I always say that. And it's like if we don't know how to maximize our time and utilize it, then we're going to fall behind, because it's the only thing that we can't go back and buy. I always say that to people when they come in. I don't care how many millions of dollars they have or who they are. I'm like, the two things that you can't get back is your health and your time.
It's non-refundable.
Yeah. And yeah, so I guess with the next question, Kristina, a lot of busy leaders struggle with overwhelm and inconsistency. From your perspectives, what's the real reason people lose momentum, even if they feel motivated?
When I see people lose momentum, they've got the goal, they've got it in their head. I do think it's twofold. So it's who are they surrounding themselves with? Because energy is real, back and forth to you. So you might, as I said, have these dreams and ideas in your head, but what's your actions of that? So when they're motivated, are they motivated and moving forward and trying and failing and trying and failing, but they've still got the bigger picture? Or are they motivated and just having an idea? So back on the environment is who are they surrounding themselves with? Are they surrounding themselves with people with going, why are you trying so hard? You've done this so many times, maybe you should try something else. Maybe you should have a break. You're working too hard. You're going to burn out. You hear all these things. And it really is the other people around you, their insecurities or their problems that they're projecting onto yourself, because really all they're doing is saying, well, I don't know how I would do that. And so why would you do that? And then if you do achieve, most people, you do have a few people in your corner, but a lot are unfortunately probably happy to watch you fail because it makes them feel better about their life most of the time. So that's when I feel like people might feel stuck, or if sometimes the grind gets real. So if you aren't looking after, say you're really motivated on your goal, but you're not looking after your body, you haven't set a clear enough goal. So people need to feel milestone and achievements to keep your momentum going. You need to give yourself that win, if you like. You might celebrate it for a minute, but you still need to give yourself that win. So if you're only setting these mountaintop goals and you haven't set your milestones to get there, then people lose the wind out of their sails and you slow up and you're like, it starts to look so out of reach that you don't know how to reach it, rather than going, oh, hang on, I just need to get my hand on the next rock and then the next rock and then the next rock. So breaking it down.
I love that. It sort of reminds me of, I'm a big, not a religious person, but I think I'm a big fan of the universe. And I really love the Buddhist middle way. Like, a lot of top performers, they're over the top, they're highly active, they're kicking goals, they're also overly stressed. But they can come from this baseline of like the middle way to high expectations. Like, this is the thing that I want to achieve. It's huge. And that's a great thing. It's really great to do. But like you said, you've got to sort of space it out into steps to go, hey, I've completed this step. I'm going to celebrate. Like, I've done really well. Like, obviously I'm getting to the top. Like, you mentioned Elon Musk before, and his ultimate goal before was to colonize Mars. And like, what did he do? Like, he started the Boring Company. He started the robots. He started the SpaceX. He started Tesla cars. Like, all these companies were all aligned with that bigger vision. Like they're all smaller rocks on that mission for him to be able to colonize Mars. And I guess that's what we've got to do along the way is look at the bigger picture, but set that GPS for little tiny things that we can look at. I think the biggest thing for overwhelm and inconsistency is when we have this huge goal, we've always got this urgency of like, oh, I've got this thing to do. I've got this thing to do. And I think top performers that I know, like even myself recently, because my calendar is very jammed out, I look at this thing that I want to do, like Claude co-work. It's amazing at the moment. I want to get into it. But it's been like I haven't had the time block on my calendar, you know.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean I can't like go onto YouTube and watch a couple of things in between that before I get that big block to do it, to sort of get excited before, you know, I get there. So
Yeah, and to break it down as well. Like, so there's, as you said, that's sort of a big rock, but it might not be really important right now, but it's like not urgent. It is important, but so breaking away a little bit of time, just half an hour to go, I'm going to teach it myself this and I'm going to learn this. You're actually chipping it away so it doesn't stay very heavy on your shoulders going, I still haven't learned Claude. I still haven't learned like that newest AI, I think is really important.
yeah, it's just the thing that I see that leads to overwhelm and burnout, but also that 3 p.m. wake up, like the 3 a.m., sorry, wake up from the cortisol spike, because and also their subconscious just being full of like all these little things that they need to do. I guess for your perspective, a follow-up, how can someone rebuild momentum quickly without overcomplicating things?
How would I rebuild? For them, if I was going to help them or even myself, like rebuild momentum, you have to start. You just have to start. There's no other day. So if you are thinking about getting back into the gym or fitness, or if it's starting that business idea or whatever it is, if you're one that has to set the date, set it for within the next 4 days, nothing later. Like don't go in 3 weeks' time because of X, Y, and Z, and just do it. I don't care. And you have to tell yourself, look, I'm probably not going to feel like it, whatever it is at the time I've set, if that's what you need, but just go do it anyway. And then just go do it anyway. Like, and you have to have this mental conversation in your head constantly, because even most people you see, they don't, and the highest performers that you're looking up to going, oh gosh, I wish I'd gone to the gym. I wish I'd started my business 2 years ago. Like they have the same talks in their head. They just do it anyway. So just set that date, put it in that calendar, mark it out, and, you know, buy your new running shoes or get your new diary and your planner board and just go and do it anyway, because there's never going to be a perfect time, and life is like an infinity journey. So it doesn't hit like you don't hit a destination ever. You're just constantly moving, and some days you're up and some days you're down, and so you just need to take that step.
Yeah, I love that because look, I think that a lot of when you say high performance, people think I've got to be at the high all the time, but nobody can ever be at the high. So I love that you said that, because there has to be a balance, you know, because if we're at the high all the time, then we can end up at the burnout, like in that bottom, because there's always that middle way between everything. Kristina, the next question, resilience is a major theme of your work. And when life and business gets tough, how do you train someone to stay mentally strong and keep moving forward?
I like to work with them if they need to, because everyone goes through tough times. So one, to know that they aren't alone, and that there are probably a lot of people that they don't realize that do want to help them. So asking, because most of the time people, especially if you're a high performer, people just think you're always fine and they'll be right, and they don't, that somehow you're a robot that doesn't feel anything and just can power through, which you put on the outside. But asking for help isn't a sign of weakness. Half the time it'll get you over your problem a lot quicker if someone's been through that problem before at work and they've learn from other people's mistakes. But so definitely talking to someone, finding business networking groups if you're feeling like you're isolated and you've moved away from your current core friend group because of, you're transitioning and you're scaling. And so finding your people, I'm big on your people are out there, but you do need to put yourself out there to ask and find them. So definitely that for helping you. And then finding little tips and tricks. There's a lot of good books. Find a book that works for you. Journaling. I'm big on writing. Get it out of your head, because the story that's going on in your head is way worse than reality, I promise you.
Yeah, I love that. I absolutely love that. I'm a huge fan on like, and I say this a lot through these podcasts with like we grew up in this generation in Australia and like it's different countries as well. But like our grandparents come back from war and they taught our parents to toughen up, grind, and don't ask for help. So this is an identity layer that's layered into most people, and most high performers think I've got to work hard, I've got to provide for my family, I've got to toughen up, and I've got to grind, and I've got to not ask for help, and this is just something that's wired into our identity as kids. And, like one of the biggest things for longevity, like even this energy session we're having now, is just being around people and sharing energy. Like it's being around a group. And like if we can step into a group of 5 other men or women that are in similar fields, and we jump in there and say, look, I have this issue, like I've been trying to sort it out, it's taking their energy. So if they can give that energy away and open up and let someone know about it, then they're going to get the answer, and they're going to save the most valuable resource, which is their time. I don't think there's anyone you can't learn from. Like and look, I find the top performers, like I said, they're always happy to ask for help. They're always happy to they want to know if they've got spag bowl on their face, like pick me
Yes.
apart, like tell me like they love it. Like, oh, this is great. They don't get reactive. They just want to know how they can be better.
Yeah, and you want to know, like you'd like to know sooner than later, right? So
Yeah.
they're just like, here's the problem here, or here's the solution, or how can I fix my problem quicker? So they're happy to help. But that's why I mean, if you ask for help, no matter what it is, go find your people, and in saying that, be careful who you take advice from. So it's good to get it out, but also be aware of who's got your best interest at heart, and who you feel. When a good indicator for me is when you leave someone, do you feel like happy and energized and like you're in a better place and that you've got a spring in your step, or do you walk away from someone just feeling a bit more drained and like zapped and confused and maybe a bit sad? And be aware of those interactions and those relationships, because you don't have to say yes to hang out with everyone. Just choose wisely.
No, it's funny you say that because, like I said, everything's energy. Like we're all energy. And if we know those feelings are coming up, like I just pretty much know that myself, like personally, I have to be very patient around people that procrastinate. And I'm just like, just do it. Like it's just jump in the deep end.
Yeah,
And
here
let's
it is.
go. But like when I'm around people that procrastinate, I have to be very patient. And I feel that anxiety and that stress come up because I'm like, I just want to take you with me, but I understand that that's them. That's
That's their
just who they
journey.
are. But I just know that that's sort of like energy I sort of don't like being around. Um, Look,
I was
I
going to say that's where you need to take it back and go, you don't actually have to help everyone if they're not. I always actually say this a lot, is like the old saying, you can lead a horse to water, you can't make them drink. And my other great one I say all the time is the fools that give advice and the fools that don't take it. And so sometimes when I've given advice and they're not taking it, I'm like, well, I'm the fool there. Like I gave advice, I chose to give it, and they're the fool that's not taking it, but I'm the fool who gave it. And so it's done. Like, not take it on going, oh, why aren't they just listening? Because
Yeah, I was really bad at that. I've got a lot better at doing that because I identified those aspects of myself. And look, yeah, it's the same. Like, we're always going to have, well, like, I think a lot of people just want them, like, for example, a PT. I want you to follow my program. It works for me. Hey, James Smith said a calorie deficit. It gave me this plan. I lost 12 kilos. It's going to work for me, right? But like everyone's individualized. Like every single person is unique. And I think that's the thing that like a lot of high performers value is like, how can I learn from this person? Or like, if I can improve my sleep by 1%, how much impact will that have on my productivity next day? like just that 1% every week.
Yeah.
Kristina,
Sleep is big.
one of the last questions I have for you, and I've got my rapid fire questions after this. Kristina, for high achieving men and women listening to this, what does true fulfillment actually look like once success is already being put on paper?
Oh, see, I'm big on this and I'm still learning a lot with it within myself, but that's where my infinity journey comes in. So everyone's reaching for this pinnacle. Like, once I get here, I will be happy. Once I get here, I will be loved. Once I get here, I will be rich. And that here is never, ever what you think, ever. And so if you are not enjoying that journey, you will not be fulfilled when you hit that peak, like I promise you. So you have to find the wins and the joy in the grind and what you're doing to ensure that when you get to the peak, you are proud of yourself and you can feel fulfilled. But if that tenacious want and drive that was driving you to that peak will then see the next peak and you're already off. So you won't feel that fulfillment because you've already moved that goalpost so far ahead of where it was that's why you have to take a step and really be enjoying that journey and the grind and everything in between, because you will forever be moving that goalpost. It's in your DNA. That's why you are doing what you're doing, and that's why you are who you are. So just keep reminding yourself that, I think.
Yeah, it's the best piece of advice, I guess, for the last question is like, yeah, we've always got to be grateful. Like, and I think that's where joy comes from. Like, I always say to my high achievers that because a lot of high achievers are just not present. They're literally just in the future. They're living in this future mode and they go through their whole life not actually being in the now. Like, I like to sort of spend a bit of time every day. I go outside, sit in the backyard. We've got the pool chairs and we've got the lake. You can just see the lake outside. And I just sit there and I do some breath work, during the day because I think peak performance has to happen, not just on when you're burnt out or having a holiday. You have to add recovery and peak performance into your day. And I just feel like I always want to feel like I'm on a holiday every day. Like, that feeling when you're just like feeling joy and like
It's
freedom.
there's just a lightness in your
Yeah.
chest and your shoulders, I feel, when you're on holidays.
Yeah, and that's the sort of feeling like I guess you want to try and bring into every day. But if we are climbing the mountain of success and grinding and trying to get up there, like as you said, it's an infinity mountains after that. Like we're never going to get there. So that's a really important point, I guess, for our listeners to remember to just practice gratitude and like be in the moment, feel like how they feel, because obviously high performance sometimes can lead to disconnection. It leads to disconnection with our emotional self and not even understanding ourselves, or then it leads to like more work to mask the pain and whiskey and but
Worse habits, relationship breakdowns, 100%.
Yeah. But that's why I think health is just such a pinnacle part, and especially biology. Like if we fix our biology, like like how many healthy people that go to the gym have like, are having like stress breakdowns and, having like your biology pretty much changes you. Like if you can change your biomarkers in a different direction, it actually changes the person that you are. Christine, I do have my final question for you, and this is a rapid fire one. So I want you to
Let's
get
go.
ready for
Let's
this.
go.
Okay, this is my famous rapid fire question. So
All right.
what's your most important lesson you've learned as a high achieving female?
To be authentically you, because there'll be the haters, there'll be the complainers, but if you just keep being authentically you, you will find your people and you will thrive.
I love that. What daily habit has the biggest impact on your productivity?
I get up, I have my lemons and greens, I go to the gym, and I have a customized compound formula that's made for me, my age, and where I want to go, and it hands down changes me.
It's good. Morning routine is always the best.
Yep.
If you could give your younger self one piece of advice, what would it be?
Don't care so much what other people think.
It's a good one. What's the biggest investment you've ever made in your business and your personal growth?
I paid a business coach quite a substantial amount of money before I had the business.
Okay, it's always good
I
to
got
learn.
I got the coaching before, but it was also for personal development and everything. I was feeling stuck where I was, and it opened up a whole new network of people, ideas, and directions and paths for me. So it was worth it.
How do you handle stress and stay focused under pressure?
I get extremely organized. I write. As I said before on the journaling, I write. So I will write out everything that needs to be done. I'm big on pen to paper, but I'm organized when it comes to what's the end result. I'll reverse engineer it, and then I just follow the bouncing ball. So I take that decision fatigue away.
And what's one book or tool or resource you recommend to inspiring leaders?
Oh, gee willikers. I have so many books here. It's ridiculous. Depending on their situation, I'd say, depending on the situation. So there's people who I think are, if they're a bit hardcore, they want to go, I'd probably recommend even things like Business as War by J.T. Fox.
Yeah.
People who I think need to get their habits right, Atomic Habits is pretty good. If they're in real estate, I have other ones. And then if they're more on a personal journey, there's even something like Worthy from Jamie Kern Lima, like things like that.
I love that. I do love the journaling as well. Like just a quick one on these rapid fires. Like it literally, I do it all the time, and it just frees up energy. Like there's just things that come out. It's the power of the pen.
Power of the pen.
Kristina, last question is, what's your drink of choice?
Oh, it's my drink of choice. This is really boring. I'm a smoothie girl. I'm a very liquid base. So like I love my smoothies. I have my smoothie every morning. It's a bit boring.
No, I love that. I was expecting water from you.
I am big on water. I have like my water bottle with me 24/7. It's always with me.
Yeah.
I thought I had to go outside of water, but yes, my main thing is I'm big on water and smoothies.
Kristina, I wanted to say a massive thank you. Obviously I said at the start, I never know where these chats are going to go. It's just about sharing energy and obviously having people listening and understanding and taking out something from it. So I really appreciate having you on the Elite Power Moves podcast, and I'm looking forward to coming on your podcast soon too.
Yes, thank you. And I can't wait to have you on Transforming the Game. We're going to have some fun. But no, it's been great. It was a great conversation. Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in today, and I hope you found the discussion useful. Our goal is to positively impact the well-being of 1 million people's lives just like you by sharing the experience and knowledge of some of the world's top performers. So you don't miss out on any key strategies to help you succeed, make sure you hit the subscribe button below. And if you think you may know someone that would benefit from this episode, join us in our mission of impacting 1 million lives and share it with your friends.